Hello, welcome to Escrow Escapes. This is the real estate stories, market trends, and true tales from the front lines of closings. I am Matthew Halliday, Navy veteran and father of three girls, also a full time real estate agent. Let's get into it.
Movers were at the house, and the lender put funding on hold over a single deck board. Welcome to Escrow Escapes. I'm your host, Matthew Halliday, and today we're diving into a real story from the front lines of real estate, the practical lessons every buyer, seller, and agent needs to hear. Quick heads up. Loans and local rules do differ, so run any legal or lender questions past your agent or attorney. But here's what actually helps across most files. Simple process moves that stop small problems from ballooning. Let's break it down. Here's the scene. Inspector notes a loose deck board and a wobbly railing post. Minor, right? Not when the lender won't fund. Seller agrees to fix it. Contractor does the work. Sounds straightforward until the invoice hits the title file late and the HOA resale form arrives incomplete. The title company flags both, the lender says, no funding, and suddenly a 3-day wrap turns into 8 days of calls and stress. Small detail I remember. The contractor emailed the invoice at 5:12 p.m. on Tuesday, after hours, so it missed the day's processing window. That tiny timestamp mattered. So what do you do when the little things start to feel huge? There are 3 moves that stop the cascade. Triage inspection items, build timeline buffers, and coordinate vendors, and use negotiation language that protects deadlines while keeping trust intact. Start with inspection triage. Not all items are equal. Say it with me. Safety first. Lender triggers next. Cosmetics last. Safety items are anything that risks people or structure. Electrical hazards, missing railings, stairs failing. Those get top priority and clear documentation. Lender triggers are the sneaky ones. Missing permits, work that affects structural integrity, or anything an appraiser could flag. Practical checklist. Do this within 48 hours of the inspection. 1. Ask your inspector to call out lender trigger items in writing. 2. Get contractor estimates and a scheduling window. 3. Secure proof of repair, photos, receipts, and a short contractor letter describing the fix and date completed. If a permit was required, get the permit final, or at least an inspection card. That one extra paper often decides whether your lender signs off. One thing to always escalate. Anything that affects load-bearing elements or safe egress. Stairs, railings, deck supports. Treat it like a high priority ticket and move everyone toward completion immediately. Next, timeline buffers and vendor coordination. The simplest reason deals slide. Unrealistic timelines and late receipts. Build a buffer at both ends. If you think repairs will take 3 days, plan for 5. If funding target is Friday, aim to finish work by Wednesday midday. Coordination tips you can use right now. 1. Create a shared folder for photos, invoices, and permits that everyone can access. 2. Set explicit vendor deadlines. Ask, can you complete this by Tuesday at noon and email invoice and photos by 1 p.m.? 3. Designate who uploads to title and when. Calendar invites save lives here. A small fix that helps. Insist on same-day uploads. If a contractor finishes at 4 p.m., you want those photos and the invoice in the shared folder by 6 p.m., not the next morning. Now, how you ask matters. Neutral phrasing keeps momentum and relationships intact. Instead of, you need to get this done now, try to keep our funding timeline intact. Would you be able to have contractor documentation submitted by Wednesday at noon? That frames it around the shared goal. If you need an extension, offer options. We can extend funding to Friday if we receive documentation by end of day Thursday. Or we can escrow funds if title approves. What works best for you? Options show flexibility but keep the deadline anchored. And when someone asks who pays, use a simple flow. If it existed pre-inspection and the seller agreed to fix it in the contract, the seller pays. If the buyer requested changes that trigger lender requirements, the buyer may pay. If it's an unexpected permit/code issue, negotiate a split based on severity and put the result in writing. Okay, here's the exact 3-line email I send when timelines need a reset. Copy this and use it. Hi all, thanks for moving quickly here. To keep the funding timeline on track, can we confirm contractor photos, invoice, and permit, if applicable, by Thursday at noon? If that isn't possible, please reply with the soonest time you can provide those items so we can adjust the funding date accordingly. Thanks, Matthew. I'll say it again, line by line, slower so you can copy it. Line 1. Hi all, thanks for moving quickly here. Line 2. To keep the funding timeline on track, can we confirm contractor photos, invoice, and permit, if applicable, by Thursday at noon? Line 3. If that isn't possible, please reply with the soonest time you can provide those items so we can adjust the funding date accordingly. Thanks, Matthew. Alongside that email, put a 1-page checklist in the file. Prioritized inspection items, contractor name and ETA, proof of repair checklist, any HOA or municipal signatures needed, and a target date with a 2-day buffer. I'll put that downloadable checklist and the email in the episode notes. Quick recap. Triage inspections. Push safety and lender triggers to the front. Build buffers and coordinate vendors, schedule earlier and require same-day proof uploads. Use neutral, option-based negotiation language so people stay cooperative and timelines stay clear. One final practical tip. Pick a single channel for updates, email, a shared folder link, or a transaction app, and insist invoices and photos land there. Less noise, more traceability, happier lenders and title officers. That's a wrap on this episode of Escrow Escapes. Thanks for listening, and remember, every deal has its bumps. It's how you navigate them that counts. Catch you next time. If you found this useful, please subscribe so you don't miss the next frontline story and more practical tips. And if you're in the middle of a deal and need that 3-line email or checklist, check the episode notes for downloads. Safe closings out there.
Thanks for listening to Escrow Escapes. For more real estate tips, market updates, and behind-the-scenes stories, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I am Matthew Halliday. We'll see you on the next closing. Thanks. Have a great day.